What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new to my channel, what's up? My name's Maddie. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're just happening to stumble across my channel, I am a registered nurse and I post a lot of nursing videos as well as lifestyle, fitness, beauty, and hair videos. As always guys, before we get started, if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button down below, just click it, it's right there. And hit the thumbs up on this video if you'd like to see more videos of mine, and as always you can turn on the bell notifications if you want to be notified every time I post a video so that you don't miss any. Today's video is going to be a kind of collaboration video about why I became a nurse as well as why my sister became a nurse. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of make this into one video because I feel like my story isn't necessarily that exciting, but the reason my sister became a nurse is very exciting, and some of you guys have been asking after watching my ICU video, because I said that I would talk about it and kind of go a little bit more in depth as to kind of what happened in the room in the ICU as far as my sister's story goes and why she decided to become a nurse. So I'll stop blabbering without further ado. Let's jump right into this video. So I wish more than anything that my sister was here to film this with me. She is currently in nursing school and has moved back to Utah and is doing a 16-month accelerated nursing program. So I think I'm going to, at some point in this video, FaceTime her in and kind of get her input because she can say it probably way better than I can. So I will kind of just start with my portion. Why did I become a nurse? I think that my whole life growing up, I would always be intrigued by people and I always really wanted to help people. I know it sounds cliche, but my whole life I found myself befriending people and being interested in other people's lives and just kind of lending a hand wherever I could, around the house, with my friends families. I was always just intrigued by helping people, and I was also intrigued by nursing as a profession. So I think that from an early age I was always intrigued by the profession just because of the amount of jobs that nursing has to offer, all the different avenues you can go into, as well as the schedules that nurses can have. Obviously there's a variety of different schedules, but you know, working 3 or 4 days a week was very appealing to me, and I think just the idea of being a nurse to me growing up was always something that I strived for. I definitely didn't have anything significant that happened to me when I was younger, or you know, I wasn't in and out of the hospital or the doctor's offices, thank goodness. I was actually a very healthy child, and luckily I didn't experience many things within my family either that kind of jolted me into wanting to become a nurse, obviously until my experience in the ICU, which is a huge part of the reason my sister became a nurse, which we'll get to. However, my high school offered a CNA course, so my senior year I decided, well, let me back up a little bit. So all through high school, our high school did offer some medical classes. So we had a sports medicine class, we had A&P, anatomy and physiology, which I actually took and then TA'd for the next year because I loved it so much. I took sports medicine, and what else did I take? I think we had like a health sciences class, something like that. So I just took all those classes, and then my senior year they started to offer the certified nursing assistant course in our high school. So I actually took it as one of my normal courses and completed that and did the clinicals that were required to get my certificate and everything like that. I think CNA, although I didn't love every single aspect of it, it definitely was an insight into nursing, and really just like kind of one avenue of nursing. We mainly focused obviously on geriatrics, a little bit of like rehab, and I want to say we covered a little bit about peds and maybe maternity slightly in CNA, but a lot of the things we studied were as nursing material and things that kind of prepared me for nursing school. So I was very happy that I took that course. I just remember that was one of like my best classes. I would get 100% on all the tests and I just had a heart for nursing. I just wanted to do well in that class. It came easy to me. You know, the tests I never really had to study. It just kind of came easy to me. In my gut, it felt right. I remember One of my CNA teachers was actually one of my friends from high school. Shout out to Tori Van Giesen. Her mom was one of the teachers, and I just remember her saying to me, you know, I think you have a calling for nursing. You excel in this class and you just really seem to love to help people. So I just went with that, and I think my dog just sneezed. I just went with it and started applying to nursing schools, and from there I never really looked back. I decided to apply mostly to schools that had 4-year undergraduate nursing programs just because the way I looked at it, I wanted to get the most out of my college experience while paying the least amount possible. I didn't want to be in debt coming out of nursing school, so I think I was kind of realistically thinking about that. So I applied to, I think, 11 different schools, and actually not all of them had the undergraduate nursing program. There's not a ton of schools that offer it the way that TCU does. So when I applied to TCU, I got to apply directly to the nursing program, which was really exciting to me because I was not really looking for a school. I remember I looked at like Baylor and SMU because I was interested in Texas schools, and they both have their students apply after 2 years of just undergraduate school. Then you have to apply after 2 years to see if you even get into the nursing program. So I wasn't necessarily interested in that. I knew it was what I wanted to do, and I wanted to just get in and then not have to really worry about it after that. So that is what I chose to do. It was very challenging seeing people kind of weed out, nursing school weeds out the people that aren't necessarily built to be a nurse. It's definitely not for everyone. I knew people going through in my class that just, it really wasn't for them. So they decided after a couple classes or after a semester or two just not to do it anymore. So that was kind of interesting to see. I never experienced a feeling of defeat to where I didn't want to be a nurse. I never experienced a time where I was like, you know what, this is too hard, or I don't think, sorry, my dog's barking. Done. So anyways, long story short, I decided to stick with it all 4 years, and the more and more I learned and the more I did clinicals, obviously there were clinicals that I didn't enjoy the most, but I feel like I made the most of my opportunity that I was given to go to school at TCU, and I felt very, very prepared coming out of school to be a nurse, and so I felt very lucky in that aspect as well. So all in all, that is really the story behind why I decided to become a nurse. Obviously now, after my experience as a patient in the ICU, I have much different reasons as to why I continue to be a nurse. I just feel like my calling to be a nurse came to me at the right time, and thankfully I had that gut feeling all along that this was what I wanted to do, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I think if anything, after my experience, I've definitely become a more compassionate, caring, intuitive, and smart nurse, just because when you stop thinking of each case or each patient as work and you start to look at them as a human being and thinking about their families back home and their life and everything that they've been through, it completely does change the way that you go about your day at work. We all have to work. We all have to do things that we don't love every single day. That's part of being adults and functioning in society. However, I think that going through something like I went through truly gives me more of a purpose behind why I'm a nurse now and why I will continue to care for patients for many, many years. So moving on to why my sister became a nurse, I'm so excited to talk about this because I feel like I've been getting so many questions about it, and her story is so much cooler than mine. I guess I shouldn't say cooler, but her story is obviously directly related to my story, and I am just over the moon excited that she had this kind of shift in her mind and realized that nursing is her calling as well. So when my sister was little, and she can speak more to this, but ever since I can remember, my sister has said she wanted to be a surgeon. So from a very young age, she was super interested in bones and muscles and blood and guts and the whole thing. And she always told us, like, I'm gonna be a surgeon when I grow up. I'm gonna be a surgeon when I grow up. So high school rolled around, and she decided she wanted to go to CU Boulder, which is where my parents are alumni, and she wasn't really sure what she wanted to do, but she knew she wanted to be somehow related to the medical field. So she decided she wanted to do sports medicine, I think kind of after her first year of school. And so she interned with the football team, and she interned with the basketball team here at CU, and she really enjoyed her time. I don't think she has really anything bad to say about it, other than she got a very good taste of what the schedule would be like for an athletic trainer. So I think she also started to realize that after graduating from CU, she would have had to do at least 2 more years of graduate school to become a successful athletic trainer. So before I got sick, I think she was starting to realize that maybe the degree she was getting, which was integrative physiology degree, was great and it had taught her a lot, but she wasn't necessarily going to be able to do anything directly after graduation with that degree, which is an important thing to think about. You know, she also, like me, was very money savvy and thinking about post-graduation and thinking about, you know, the fact that if she did stay with that degree and then had to go to graduate school, that she would definitely have to take out loans. And so she started thinking about that. Fast forward to, let's see, last January, so January of 2018, my sister decided to go study abroad in New Zealand, and she left, I think it was mid to late January, it might have even been early February, to go study abroad in New Zealand. And she had the most amazing time, and my family and I actually had a vacation scheduled to go see her in New Zealand and go on vacation literally the week after I got sick. So halfway through my craziness of being sick in the ICU was when we were supposed to be on the plane to New Zealand for 2 weeks as a family. So needless to say, it was the third or fourth day into my series of being sick. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about and you're like, what in the world are you referring to, I will put up on the screen right here. I tell my whole story about my ICU experience and what happened to me last March in this video. So that is what I keep referring to. If you're like, what are you talking about, you can go watch that right here. I will also link it down below. Let's see, about 4 days in, and they realized how serious things were getting, my parents decided to have my sister fly home from New Zealand. So this is like the biggest God thing ever. My sister, they called her, this was right when I was, I think, she'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was right when I was about to get transported to the ICU. Right when I was about to get transported to the University of Colorado Hospital from Rifle, and she looked at flights on her phone or computer, whatever. She started looking at flights, and literally she booked a flight and was able to be out of her house, packed up all her stuff, and on the plane within a matter of like 2 hours. So don't ask me how that happened. I seriously think it was just God and it just was meant to happen. She was on a flight, and 24 hours later she was crawling in bed with me in the ICU. I showed you guys a picture of this in my last video about my experience, but apparently it was right after I had been extubated the first time, and I was on my high flow oxygen. I'll put the picture on the screen here as well, but apparently I looked at my sister, and I don't remember this, and I said, "Hi silly, like what are you doing? Come get in bed with me, like come on." And she like looked at my nurses, and she was like, "Is that okay? Like, can I get in bed with her?" And I was like, "I don't care, like come get in bed." So she just crawled in bed with me and snuggled with me the whole night, and that was a really hard night for me. But I think that was in my last video, that was when I looked over at her, and just because I couldn't breathe the whole night, like this, I just hated this high flow oxygen, and clearly the pneumonia and ARDS were still really bad, so I really shouldn't have been off my breathing machines. But I just struggled to breathe the entire night, and my oxygen saturation was just in the 80s the entire night. And she said she just could see my heart beating out of my chest because my heart was working so hard to compensate for my lungs. So anyways, she stayed with me the entire night, and all through my hospital stay, my sister and my mom really were absolutely incredible. I mean, everyone was incredible, but as far as cleaning me up when I went in the bed and helping me keep my lips moisturized and brushing my hair and putting lotion on me, the things that go the extra mile that not even necessarily all the nurses would do for me, some of them 100% were incredible and gave me bed baths and put lotion on me and braided my hair. One of the nurses French braided my hair one day. This is all, I learned all of this after, obviously, because I don't remember any of it. But I do remember nights where my sister and my mom were there, and because I would make the boys leave the room, Ryan and my dad. But they were there through every single moment that they could be. And Kenzie has since said that all of my nurses that cared for me during my stay in the ICU would look at her and say, why are you not a nurse? Like, this is, you need to do this. You were born to do this. You're such a helper. Like, you are so compassionate, and you're the first one to do something if your sister needs it. And obviously she's my sister, but it was just incredible to hear after the fact how much she loved to help me and was the first one that was there and ready to do whatever it was. If even, you know, not everything is glamorous in the ICU. All my nurses know this. In any part of nursing, it's not always glamorous, and there's things that are gross, there's things that happen that you don't necessarily want to deal with, and my sister was the first one to offer to help me, and so sweet. I think that as she started to think about going back to New Zealand and leaving me, she just kind of realized that, you know what, maybe I need to rethink this. And so I remember getting out of the hospital, and my whole family and I were staying at a family friend's house for like 3 or 4 days right when I got out of the hospital. So my sister would help me get up and down from the couch, and she would bring me anything that I needed along with the rest of my family, but she literally did not leave my side. And after that, she literally moved into my house with me and helped me with all of my ADLs, my activities of daily living, just cooking, cleaning, getting up and down the stairs, going to the bathroom, showering, anything that I needed, she was right there. And I'll never be able to thank her for everything that she did. I obviously was very neutral. I tried to be very neutral about the whole thing when she was making her decision to either go back to New Zealand and finish her study abroad, or to come back here and kind of shift her direction into nursing. I was very neutral because I didn't want to sway her in any way, because the fact of the matter was I was going to be okay, and I was improving every single day. I was getting my strength back every single day, and I knew that it was going to be okay either way, and I wanted her to do what was best for her. And she decided to stay. She decided to become a nurse, and so she started researching programs, and during this time she was also developing her relationship with her now boyfriend Chandler. And it's just, everything was just so meant to be. She decided that she wanted to go back to Utah because they have a 16-month undergraduate nursing program, like I mentioned earlier, and Utah is where we grew up, so she can get in-state tuition there. And so, long story short, she decided to stop going to CU, and she finished out this semester, and then she took some online classes to finish her prereqs for nursing school. And she just did that at a community college here, so she was able to get that done. And then she applied to the University of Utah. It was the only school she applied to, and she kind of just put all of her eggs in that basket. Also, side note, her boyfriend goes to the University of Utah, so everything just worked out perfectly. She was accepted. You can just tell that she is exactly where she's meant to be. Everything about her story to becoming a nurse makes everything I went through worth it, because the thought of her doing something that she's so passionate about and all of the patients that she's going to impact in the future, it just makes me so happy and so grateful for everything that I went through and having her by my side. And obviously thankful to God that he made it all possible, because it's just amazing. Like, when I look back 9 months ago, she was in New Zealand studying to become an athletic trainer. It just blows my mind the impact that God has and the way that he does it all. So guys, sorry, I did not expect to get emotional about this. I'm just an emotional person, what can I say? If I haven't already, I'm going to put in the footage of my sister kind of telling a little bit of her story here, because she obviously can tell it way better than I can, and I just love her, and I want you guys to love on her too, because she's gonna be such an amazing nurse and I miss her so much. I'm so insanely happy for her. I've never seen her happier in my life. So as of now, she's thinking either ICU, obviously, or labor and delivery. So I just can't wait to see where this journey takes her. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry if it was kind of jumpy and emotional. I just could talk about this stuff all day long because I'm so passionate about it. So if you have any questions or things that I didn't answer, please leave them in the comment box below. I respond to every single comment, and I love hearing from you guys more than you know. It seriously makes my day. You can also always DM me on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram handle right here. And I just love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your stories, and I would love to know why you all became nurses. So I love you all so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys back for the next video. Bye.